Every week, there's a barrage of new AI tools promising to revolutionize how we work as web designers and how we create websites. But the truth is, most of them are just companies trying to ride the AI trend and wave, and what they're doing doesn't really make any difference in our work, and we're not going to use it. Maybe it's cool for a social media video, but that's not really how professional designers create websites these days. And so in this video, I want to show you 4 tools that I actually use, that I actually pay for, because they make a significant change in my process as a web designer. I want to show you how I am using it. So let's dive right into it. The first one is Reloom. You've heard me talk about Reloom a lot. And what Reloom does in speeding up how I think about website creation is I can put in my client brief here as a prompt and get a full sitemap. And you can see this is basically all the pages in the website, including every section on the website. Now, this is a process that to think through large and complex website can take days or weeks, and now can be done in mere minutes and then hours to just refine it and structure it and work together with your clients. And when that is done, you can move into the wireframing, which you can, again, done in seconds, including the draft copy for all of your website. And if you're a web designer working on big complex project, the fact that you can get your wireframes done with a draft of the copy in a few seconds is just mind-blowing. This saves days and weeks off a professional web design process. You can still get this customized in Figma and later develop this in Webflow, but the strategic thinking and planning of the website has become so much easier. And this is really, really a fantastic, phenomenal tool. The second tool I want to talk about is image creation. And a lot of people are talking about Midjourney, and Midjourney is the best. But the truth is, and here's an example, this is from the Flux Academy website. This image is actually all AI, and I am using Freepik. This is a really, really great tool for image generation. I'll explain why I think this is so cool. First of all, it enables me to train characters. So I've fed images of myself here, and now I can go ahead and really create. Let me show you some of the images that I created here. Let's go to images. And I can basically create so many images of myself to be using on my website, on social media, and so it really gives me a lot of flexibility. So number one, the character thing. The second thing, as you can see, I can train based on references, images. I can then go ahead and make edits here. I can go ahead and reimagine this. There are so many editing tools right in here, like erasing, retouching, making certain changes in the website. So this is a this basically replaced most of what I used to do in Photoshop and also photography, just to create assets for our websites. And you can really create, as you can see here, this is our example for just a few of the assets that we were considering using on our website. You can get to a really high level of customization to create images that fit your brand. And this is, I find at this point, this tool is the most powerful one. Again, it allows me to choose between all the different popular models that are existing today for image creation, along with the style guides, with different styles here, along with characters, along with my brand colors. So many fine-tuning options here that I feel like I'm getting so much better results than in something like Midjourney. All right, the next one I want to talk about is ChatGPT. And ChatGPT, okay, obvious, but still when I'm using it as a web designer. So I'll give you an example. I'm using Webflow, and Webflow itself also has kind of like an AI inside of Webflow. And I'm trying to ask it questions when I try to think about planning certain interactions or builds. So in this case, for example, I wrote here, I'd like to create a horizontally scrolling section. How would you do that? And Webflow gives me some kind of an answer here, but after actually reading through this, and understanding Webflow, this is actually not going to solve my problem. Now, I tried to feed the same question into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT actually gave me 3 different approaches where I can do horizontal scroll, either native using Overflow X. The second one is using an interaction. The third one is suggesting if I'd like to add Swiper.js. So this is a much smarter and thoughtful approach to help me build and and actually plan out my build, especially when I'm trying to do complex things and I want to think about how I'm going to structure this, maybe how I'm going to style this. Having ChatGPT to just as a brainstorming partner is very, very helpful. The last thing I do want to talk about is custom code. And actually, I'm not using custom code for this, although you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude or other things for coding. Of course, you can use Lovable. But the problem is, at the end of the day, I want to build my websites on Webflow because it gives me the full control and publishing and, CMS and deliverability to clients. And so I need something that really integrates within Webflow. So I'll give you an example. Here's a website that I created, and I wanted to basically create this typography animation with GSAP and with a WebGL animation that wraps the image as I'm clicking this. And so this was built, initially the project was built in Webflow, but to create the animation, I've used an app called Slater. So Slater is basically an AI coding tool that integrates within Webflow. What it basically means is that I can write here a prompt, like, please create this animation, and I even give it the class's name. And then when I link this into my Webflow project, immediately as I will save this to staging, I can reload here my published website, and the custom code is just going to work. So just by adding one line of code into my Webflow project, I can now have Slater write custom code for me and just publish it directly into Webflow. So this integration actually make it so much more useful than, I can use Cursor. Yes, I can use ChatGPT to generate code, but then I'll have to copy and paste the code and try to work with that. And it wouldn't have context on my Webflow project. And that's why, for me, Slater is much simpler way to actually get the custom code working inside of a Webflow project. All right, so these are the tools that made impact for me. I'd love to hear from you in the comments which tools are making impact for you, and maybe I'll cover them in an upcoming video. See you.